This is Machuka Nyarieko TV Talk Show, where we analyze politics and governance issues. We focus on national, local, and international news. We examine the political way of our people, social and economic. Nyarieko TV Talk Show, the house of ideas.
Hello viewers, welcome to Machuka Nyarieko TV Talk Show, the house of ideas. This evening, I will focus on kingmakers, those who assist leaders to get into leadership, and a time when they themselves want to be the kings themselves. And in this case, I will focus on Wanjigi. And stay tuned. And for those who are watching this channel for the first time, kindly subscribe so that whenever we produce another video, YouTube will automatically notify you. And here we give ideas on various issues, right from governance, political, and social ways of our people. Back to our topic. Today, I want us to focus on Wanjigi. Wanjigi has been notorious in Kenyan politics as one of those who have been pushed most of the Kenyan leaders into political powers. And one may ask, what has been his major aim of trying to push a few leaders into political power? This happened during the time of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. There has also been arguments that he has also been funding the Prime Minister or the former Prime Minister, the Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, and there are arguments that he is always at the center of governance in each government. Now that we know that in the last general election, Wanjigi was also a presidential contender, did he in one way or another give his hand to the current President William Ruto? And what normally happens to kingmakers once leadership has been taken by specific leaders? This can be guided, the discussion can be guided by what normally happens to deputy presidents in Africa and all over the world. Deputy presidents or vice presidents normally assist the governments or the presidents to get into political offices. But once they get into a given once the president gets that political power, it appears that the deputy or vice presidents are assumed that, or it is assumed that they should not speak anything, that they should keep quiet, and that they should watch what the president is doing. You have seen this many times, even since independence in our Kenyan history. You have seen that presidents have been, deputy presidents have been found in narrow ways, like from Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. He had several problems with Jaramogi, with Jomo Kenyatta, which necessitated Jaramogi Oginga Odinga to resign. Moi had similar problems with Jomo Kenyatta, despite the fact that Jomo Kenyatta died before as he was still in power. We have had several vice presidents in Kenya. The most notorious one was this Professor George Saitoti, who was out of power for quite several months. If it's not 9-8 months, then it should be about 13 months after a general election, when President Moi did promise each and every close associate that once he takes power, he'll make him a vice president so that he could get the top, I mean, he could be supported into the presidency. This made him to stay for quite long without appointing the vice president, and when he appointed him, when he returned Professor George Saitoti, he said, let me give him and we shall see whether sufurias of ugali will decrease. And then we also have William Ruto, who also was had a good number of his problems. Mwai Kibaki was also a deputy president. He had his problems. Kalonzo Musyoka was a deputy president, despite the fact that they say he never had president. He never automatically inherited the president. Now we have Rigathi Gachagua, who should be seen and not be heard. So, to understand a kingmaker, you need first to understand the position of vice presidents. But for kingmakers, these are people who come with resources, who come with the ways and the means of which one can access the political power. No, one of the pests of getting into power is to have money, and sufficient money, more especially when it comes to third world countries, because citizens or citizenry do not contribute as individuals, like whereby in America, where a presidential candidate can raise, there can be a fundraising within the shortest time, and you find that several people have given their contributions so that it can make that particular presidential candidate to move around the republic looking for votes. In Africa, it is different. It is a few individuals, it is a few bourgeoisies, it is a few bureaucracies, those with money, those with means, who will give money, and in return of something, if these individuals get into power, into political power. That's why you'll find that Wanjigi can give money to both presidential candidates. It's some kind of betting. You bet, you give money so that you will weigh who is going to take over power. So this is the kind of the Wanjigi that we have. Can such a man rise into a political office? That is, can Wanjigi become a president of the Republic of Kenya? Okay. Wanjigi, who has also been accused of funding the Gen Zs to dislodge UDA or Kenya Kwanza government from power, is on spot of saying that he is working in and out to ensure that this government does not reach the year 2027, when we are expected to have the general election. What I know about these groups of people, those who fund governments, it is true that they can bring trouble to those same governments, such that they give them hard time before the stipulated election period, because they have money, they have the resources, they can bring trouble, and more especially when the expectations are not met. But it becomes very difficult for kingmakers to be president or to be kings themselves. They know how to advise, they know to provide the means, but for them to get into presidents, it is very difficult. But for Jimmy Wanjigi, of late, I've seen a few individuals, more especially from his home turf, listen or loosen or give some signs of sympathy to him. For one, what Jimmy Wanjigi has is in terms of wealth, and the wealth is just a section of what is required for one to sail through into kingship positions. We have other issues, we have other things that one has to put together in order to achieve this top political office. But Jimmy Wanjigi has one, and also another one, which if he successfully exploits it, it then can make him stand a better position of becoming the president of the Republic of Kenya. But in most cases, kingmakers hardly become the kings. They only assist kings to get into political office. Machuka Nyarieko TV talk show, the house of ideas. Kindly continue watching, liking, and sharing. Thank you so much. Have a blessed evening.